Have you ever stopped to wonder why some women choose to live alone? Not because they can't find a partner, but because they simply don't want to? Why does their solitude make others so uneasy? Could it be that what we call loneliness is actually something much deeper, far more powerful, and even revolutionary? Today we're about to explore a side of womanhood that remains largely misunderstood, often misjudged, and yet holds the potential for profound transformation. As we dive into the psychology of Carl Jung, we'll uncover the real reason behind a woman's choice to walk alone, not out of bitterness, but in full presence and sovereignty. The journey begins. A woman who chooses to live alone disrupts the very foundation of how we've been taught to view love, success, and femininity. Her solitude is not a sign of failure. It's a powerful declaration of autonomy. She's not hiding from connection. She's reconnecting with herself. This decision isn't born from heartbreak or anger, but from a deep inner awakening. She no longer seeks validation through relationships. Instead, she has tapped into a deeper source of worth that doesn't rely on being seen by someone else. Society often misreads her stillness as coldness, her selectivity as arrogance, and her independence as pride. But what few realize is that her solitude isn't the result of a lack of connection. It's born from a place of abundance. She is already full, and because of that, she can afford to wait. Her aloneness is not a wall she's built around herself. It's a filter, one that allows only what is truly worthy of her time and energy to pass through. She's not avoiding love. She's honoring herself enough to not settle for anything that makes her shrink. This is the true power behind her choice. She doesn't settle for surviving in a relationship. She waits for something that allows her to expand. A revolutionary choice. Her choice challenges a narrative so deeply ingrained in our culture that it's often never questioned. The belief that a woman's life only gains meaning through romantic attachment has been passed down from fairy tales to modern media. Partnership has long been seen as the pinnacle of a woman's life, but this woman reclaims that narrative for herself. She doesn't see her life as incomplete without a partner. To her, it's already a vibrant, colorful canvas, not a mere prelude to someone else's arrival. Her days are the main event, not the waiting room. This quiet refusal to wait for someone else to bring happiness into her life is, in itself, a radical act of emotional sovereignty. Her life is full, not because she needs a partner to make it so, but because she has already chosen to live fully on her own terms. The inner journey of self-discovery. Carl Jung taught that the journey to true psychological wholeness, what he called individuation, requires us to confront our inner shadow. The woman who walks alone has done precisely that. She has ventured into her own unconscious, where layers of pain, inherited patterns, unmet needs, and unresolved trauma reside. And rather than crumbling under this weight, she has slowly, deliberately rebuilt herself with reverence for every part of herself once denied or rejected. She has stopped projecting her longings outward. No longer does she expect someone else to complete what she can only complete within herself. Her relationship with herself has evolved into something sacred. She's not immune to desire, to longing, or to love, but now her love comes with boundaries, boundaries forged in self-respect. She doesn't need rescuing. She simply wants to be seen. And for many, this is the most intimidating thing of all. A woman who knows her own worth and stands firmly in it. The true meaning of sovereignty. This journey is not about becoming unreachable. It's about becoming sovereign. Emotional independence, in Jungian terms, is not disconnection. It's integration. And integration, as we know, is a threat to any structure built on imbalance, codependence, or emotional control. By facing her shadow, she has not only confronted her personal wounds, but the collective wounds of generations of women who were taught to adapt, to please, to endure. She has given voice to emotions that were once buried, sometimes for decades, sometimes for centuries. This is why her solitude isn't isolation, it's reclamation. She's not just healing for herself. She's breaking cycles that didn't begin with her, but that can end with her. In doing so, she becomes the embodiment of inner authority, no longer living by borrowed scripts, but writing her own with intention and clarity. Transition to the next step. As we move forward, we'll uncover the deeper layers of how such a woman's sovereignty impacts not only her life, but the world around her. How does her journey of emotional independence pave the way for the next generation? And what does it mean for women to reclaim their power on their own terms in a society that's often reluctant to let them? Let's explore this next. Before we dive deeper, I hope this video has been as eye-opening for you as it has been for many others. If you found any part of it valuable, don't hesitate to share it with others who might resonate with these ideas. And if you'd like to support our work here at the Daily Stoic, you can leave a donation by clicking the thanks button below this video. Your support helps us continue bringing you more thought-provoking content. Now let's continue our journey into what this kind of freedom truly reveals. There's something deeply disruptive about a woman who no longer needs to be chosen to feel valuable. Her life becomes a mirror, reflecting back at others what they have not yet dared to confront within themselves. Men who often define masculinity through dominance might feel disarmed by her wholeness, her completeness. Women who were taught to derive their worth from romance might see her as cold, distant, or even unapproachable. But what they're really reacting to isn't her detachment, it's her clarity. She no longer accepts the crumbs that others call connection. She no longer views silence as emptiness, but as presence. Her refusal to engage in performative love isn't a rebellion. It's a deep lucidity. While many people fill their time with distractions and seek shallow validation, she chooses depth. By doing so, she exposes the quiet poverty of relationships built on need rather than truth. Her solitude isn't about being unreachable because she's broken. It's because she's inaccessible to anyone not ready to meet her in their own wholeness. She has become a threshold. To engage with her requires you to rise to meet her truth or fall back into the comfort of illusions. Her very presence becomes an act of quiet rebellion, not because she intends to oppose, but because her way of being dissolves the illusions around her. She no longer entertains dynamics rooted in insecurity, nor does she feel the need to perform softness to become more palatable to others. Her clarity acts like a mirror, sharp, calm, and unflinching. And when others feel discomfort in her presence, it's not because she lacks emotion, but because she no longer trades authenticity for acceptance. She doesn't need to punish, persuade, or prove herself. She simply is. In a world obsessed with noise and external approval, that stillness is revolutionary. This woman is not an exception. She is the emergence of a new archetype, a representation of the death of the old narrative that tied a woman's value to her ability to please, be available, or be dependent. She has stepped outside of that script, not to reject love, but to redefine it. She no longer fears solitude because she has made peace with herself. She no longer tries to fit herself into spaces too small for her soul. Now she only stays where she can be her full, wild, luminous self. Her presence may not be loud, but it is undeniably powerful. It carries the vibration of someone who has walked through her own darkness and returned with light, not to flaunt, but to illuminate. She understands that love, when it comes, must be a celebration, not a solution. It must be a meeting of equals, not a trade of needs. She doesn't walk ahead of anyone or behind anyone. She walks her own path, and as she does, she leaves behind a quiet trail, an invitation for other women to stop searching for validation outside of themselves and to begin remembering who they were before the world told them they were incomplete. What perhaps disturbs the world most is not that she is alone, but that she is at peace. She is not waiting to be chosen because she has already chosen herself. And in doing so, she has stepped into a truth that doesn't need to shout to be heard. As Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." This woman has awakened, not through someone else's love, but through the slow, sacred, silent act of returning to her own. If something in this message stirred a memory, a realization, or even a question within you, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below. What did this awaken in you? What does solitude mean for you now? And if you found value in this space, if it speaks to something true inside you, be sure to subscribe to the Daily Stoic. This channel is a sanctuary for deep thought, emotional growth, and unapologetic self-awareness, because the inward journey deserves company even when the path is walked alone. Until next time, stay true, stay whole, and above all, stay awake. Because once a woman has awakened, the world will never look the same again.